What if I told you that hidden in plain sight, in backyards, and forgotten plots of land, lies a secret to feeding a family, building a community, and reconnecting with our past? It's not a new technology or a fancy gadget. It's a heritage garden, and it holds more wisdom than you can imagine. Before the endless aisles of grocery stores, before produce was shipped thousands of miles, our ancestors had a brilliant system right outside their back doors. They didn't just grow food, they cultivated life, resilience, and a deep connection to the earth. These weren't just patches of dirt with a few vegetables. They were complex, living pantries meticulously designed to provide for a family year-round. This is the story of heritage gardens, the ingenious systems that fed generations. It's about rediscovering the lost art of backyard bounty, a practice that's more relevant today than ever before. Forget everything you think you know about gardening. We're about to dig deep into a world where every plant has a purpose. Every season brings a new harvest, and every seed tells a story. Let's start by picturing a typical backyard from 100 years ago. It wasn't a manicured lawn demanding water and chemicals. It was a powerhouse of productivity. You'd find what gardeners call the three sisters: corn, beans, and squash, planted together in a perfect symbiotic relationship. The corn provides a natural trellis for the beans to climb. The beans, in turn, fix nitrogen in the soil, enriching it for the other plants. And the large, sprawling leaves of the squash act as a living mulch, shading the ground, keeping it moist, and preventing weeds from taking over. This wasn't just planning, this was ecological engineering at its finest, a lesson learned over countless generations. But it didn't stop there. These gardens were layered. Taller fruit trees like apples and pears would provide a canopy, while shorter berry bushes like raspberries and gooseberries would grow underneath. Root vegetables like potatoes, carrots, and beets were tucked in wherever there was space, storing their energy underground, safe from the first frosts. Climbing plants like peas and cucumbers would scramble up fences and walls, maximizing every inch of vertical space. It was a three-dimensional food forest, a living, breathing ecosystem designed for maximum yield with minimum waste. And waste was not an option. Every part of the garden was used. Kitchen scraps didn't go in the trash. They went into a compost pile, transforming into a rich, nutrient-dense fertilizer that would be returned to the soil. This created a closed-loop system, a cycle of life, death, and renewal that kept the garden fertile and productive year after year, without the need for synthetic fertilizers. It's the ultimate recycling program, and nature perfected it long before we did. These gardens also served as a living pharmacy. Our ancestors knew the medicinal properties of plants. A corner of the garden would be dedicated to herbs like mint for soothing an upset stomach, chamomile for a calming tea, and yarrow to help with minor cuts. It was a holistic approach to health, understanding that the same land that provided their food could also provide their medicine. Preserving the harvest was just as important as growing it. Before refrigerators and freezers, people relied on ingenious methods to make their food last through the long winter months. Canning, drying, pickling, and fermenting were essential skills passed down from mother to daughter, from father to son. The pantry wasn't just a closet. It was a treasure trove filled with colorful jars of jams, jellies, pickles, and preserved vegetables, a testament to a summer of hard work and a guarantee of nourishment. Through the cold, think of tangy sauerkraut or kimchi, fermented foods packed with probiotics that are now hailed as superfoods. Our ancestors were enjoying these health benefits simply as a way of life. These heritage gardens were more than just a source of food. They were the heart of the community. People shared seeds, traded produce, and helped each other with planting and harvesting. A surplus of tomatoes in one yard might be traded for a basket of apples from another. Knowledge was shared over the fence, Secrets to deterring pests or boosting a harvest were passed round like family recipes. This created a powerful network of food sovereignty, where communities weren't dependent on a fragile, long-distance supply chain. They were resilient, self-sufficient, and deeply connected to each other and the land they shared. When you grow your own food, something magical happens. A tomato from your own garden, warmed by the sun and picked at the peak of ripeness, tastes infinitely better than any store-bought equivalent. There's a sense of pride, of accomplishment, of connection. You understand the effort, the time, and the care that goes into producing that single piece of fruit. You appreciate food in a whole new way. It's an education in patience, in observation, and in the cycles of nature. Today, there's a growing movement to bring these heritage gardens back. People are tearing up their lawns and replacing them with vegetable beds. They're seeking out heirloom seeds, the varieties our ancestors grew, prized for their flavor, nutrition, and resilience, not just their ability to be shipped across the country. These seeds are a living link to our agricultural past, each one carrying a unique genetic story. By planting them, we become part of that story, acting as stewards of biodiversity. So, how can you start? It's easier than you think. You don't need a huge plot of land. You can grow herbs in a window box, tomatoes in a pot on your balcony, or lettuce in a vertical planter. Start small. Choose something you love to eat. Learn about companion planting. Start a compost bin for your kitchen scraps. The most important step is just to begin, to get your hands in the dirt and reconnect with this fundamental human activity. By reviving these old school gardening techniques, we're not just growing food. We are preserving ancestral knowledge, enhancing our food security, and building more resilient communities. We're teaching our children where their food comes from, a lesson that's desperately needed in our disconnected world. A heritage garden is a powerful act of hope, a vote for a healthier, more sustainable future. It's a way to reclaim our food, our health, and our heritage, one backyard at a time. This journey back to the garden is a journey back to ourselves. It reminds us that we are part of nature, not separate from it. It teaches us the profound satisfaction of providing for ourselves and our loved ones. It's a legacy of abundance, a gift from our ancestors that we can and should pass on to future generations. What old school gardening tricks or family food traditions do you remember? Share them in the comments below. I would love to read about the wisdom passed down in your family. If you found this journey into our agricultural past inspiring, please give this video a like. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that dig deep into the roots of our world. Now, think about this. We've talked about how these gardens fed families and communities. But what if I told you that the seeds from these gardens were part of a secret network, an underground railroad of sorts that preserved not just plant varieties, but the stories and hopes of entire cultures in the face of incredible adversity? That story, however, is for next time. Thanks for watching.